But Taniko asks a very good question here. They joined because they want some graphic design skills, but they don't know where to start. So let's go from that beginner. You know, we started to touch on it a little bit, maybe starting with Photoshop and Lightroom, etc. But Mike, I mean, let's start now. Let's ask, answer Taniko's question about where do they start.
So I've got a few answers for that. I never want to overpromise and underdeliver. I am primarily, and due to the fact that I have written the Photoshop exams, Adobe exams, they're very technical. And some of these programs, and don't let that scare you off, they're very technical programs. I teach the skills required to use these programs. I'm not a graphic designer at all. I have got plenty books on design, and I keep reading up on it, on logo design. So I'm not your designer. But when it comes to, for example, when we get into our Illustrator course, there will be little hints and tips as to designing a logo. That will stand you in good stead. But I'm more of a skills-based lecturer, but we do projects. So in the Photoshop class, every single lecture, you're doing another skill. We give you the files to download, and you're doing the corrections or any of the effects with me. Same as with Illustrator. We'll say, right, in this lecture, we're going to design a logo. I would recommend what I'm going to do is I'm going to design a round logo. So I'll show you the right tools to use to create the circle. Then I'll say, let's create a squiggle. Then I'll show you the tool to make a squiggle. Then we'll put a placement in of another little small 2 circles. I'll say, I would recommend we place them on the left third of the illustration because of the rule of thirds, which would which would make for a more interesting composition. I throw in little design tips and tricks as we go. And in InDesign, where we actually create a menu, a food menu for an Italian restaurant, I also will say, like, we're going to do a left and a right page for the menu. This will be the breakfast menu. That'll be the lunch menu. But let's move this text to that side of the page and not just mirror it from this side, because graphically it will look better. They're just tips and tricks. It's not a design course. It's how to actually use the program. So I hear what you say. The other thing is you will find designers on this group. I just don't know if they're all available to do any kind of tuition, but I dare say that I might get really bad looks. Pam is your design person, but she's that's the value again of meeting in a community forum. I'm sure she's not taking on any private work, but she is phenomenal. I mean, if you are, I can give you names of other people who could maybe assist you with design. But before you need to be able to, so it used to be at one of the colleges that in first year, the first year students designed everything with pencil and paper. Second year, they were taught how to transfer those skills onto the computer. So if you've got the skills, you need to work out how to transfer them onto the computer. But I'm not a graphic design lecturer. I can't falsely represent myself.
No, Mike, thank you for that authenticity. I appreciate that. And as you were saying, and it's starting, to make sense for me, you've got to have the skills with the program, which is primarily what you offer and what you teach. But then, the graphic design and creativity that I think Taniko is talking about and which Pam specializes in always goes hand in hand. And what you'll get primarily from this community is the skills and the tools, as well as some of the tips and tricks and ideas to start building out your graphic design skills as you're increasing your knowledge about the tools, right? And then, as you say, Mike, if we've got other people and experts in the group that can give advice and input and share details for people that are actually offering and teaching graphic design, tuition and consulting, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the whole purpose of the community, is to put people in touch and maximize the benefit for everybody else, right? That's exactly what we're trying to set up.